Hello everyone, this is Kaifu here with game 1 in the series between Jason and Daniel, with Jason on my left side playing Bahamut, while on my right side we have Daniel playing Reflect Refrain. So this will be a Reflect Refrain matchup versus against Bahamut. So Bahamut, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys played the Bahamut Blast format, so I'm pretty sure you guys should know what Bahamut does. So Bahamut is a very early game strategy deck, so pretty much you want to apply a lot of pressure in the early game, doing as much damage as you can, which is Jason doing at the moment. Apply as much damage you can and flip over your J rule and doing the finishing move. So that's part of the strategy, but however, you have to be very cautious, because if your opponent is playing some kind of removal deck and so on, able to remove all your resources, you are in a predicament you don't want to be in. So we do have Daniel playing Reflect Refrain and opening the Rook Egg and Cthulhu Living Flame combination, so which allow him to gain a lot of advantage. So he can push for damage back, and not only that, Reflect Refrain has the ability to pump up your own Resonator by 200 attack and defense, so he most likely will run over his opponent's Cthulhu Living Flame, which he is doing at the moment. So pumping up, doing 700 damage directly to Cthulhu Living Flame, leaving Jason with nothing. Because at the start of the turn, Jason did overcommit by using Guinevere to Cthulhu Living Flame and then a Cthulhu Living Flame, so he's down by 3 cards. So at the moment he only has 3 cards in hand compared to I believe compared to Daniel's 5 cards in hand with a Cthulhu Living Flame on the field. So now with no Resonant on the field, unless Jason has a Hunter or a Frame Sprite and so on, something like that to J activate, he can do a lot of damage. But however, without the Leviathan, he can't actually go for the 1200 damage right off the bat at the moment. So let's see how can he handle this situation. He does drop the Lancelot running over his opponent's Cthulhu Living Flame. He doesn't want his opponent to overrun his field and so on, because obviously Lancelot will get taken down next turn if that Cthulhu Living Flame remains on the field. So tapping for another Magic Stone. Let's see what can Daniel do in this situation. Currently, life point wise, 4,000 life point compared to 3,000 life point. Obviously 1,000 difference, because in the early game, Jason did do 1,000 point of damage with 2 Cthulhu Living Flame. In comes the, I can't remember the top of my head what it's called, removing encounter from Reflect Refrain and then pumping it up with Reflect Refrain again, doing 800 damage towards Lancelot, so not allowing Jason to have any Resonant on the field, because he knows for the fact that in order for you to activate, you need a Resonant on the field. If I get rid of all your Resonators, you can't do anything against me. So that is his Daniel's defensive play at the moment. Get rid of his opponent's Resonators, not allowing him to have any field present. Without any field present, it will be a lot harder for Jason to commit the field with his J roll, because look at his hand, he's down by a lot of cards towards Daniel. Playing the Guinevere on the field, which allows him to draw 2 cards, and using Purifying Fire, burning 700 damage directly to Daniel, which does put him down to 2,300 life point compared to Jason 4,000s. Now, let's see what can he do. He does have a Guinevere on the field for draw power if he needs to. He only has 1 card in hand, so Jason has to be very careful at the moment. While Daniel on the other side, he might be low on life point, but he does have a lot more advantage than his opponent. He plays the bow down for the extra defensive play if he necessarily needs it. Attacking directly by looks like it, yep, taking it, putting Jason down to 3,400 life point, and so on. So let's see what can Jason do in this current situation with 1 card in hand, 1 Guinevere on the field, and he can't really do much at the moment. Even through his head in life point wise, but it doesn't make a difference if you can't commit the board and so on, and do the same amount of damage as your opponent can do. So let's see. Let's see what can Daniel do with a fallout play like this. He does have 2 Magic Stone open, so he can play another card on the field and so on to get his power plays going. Untapping, going towards the end phase right away. He didn't tap his ruler at the moment, so I'm pretty sure that was a misplay play by Daniel. Oh god, this might cost him the match if this happened, because for those who don't know, Reflect Refrain's recover effect will activate at the end phase, but when Daniel untapped his Resonator, he's actually indicating to his opponent that you actually went to the end phase right away. So this might be a lot more troublesome for Daniel, because he might be nervous, because maybe he's camera shy, something like that on the line. I'm not quite sure, but he's kind of panicking at the moment from my point of view. So he's randomly untap his Resonator, so meaning that he does put himself in the predicament because he didn't tap 4 Magic Stone at the same time. Not only that, he has 2 Magic Stone open to play with, but which he didn't do. So putting himself in a bad situation that he doesn't want to be in. So let's see. So he's forced to pass his turn, and back to Jason's turn. Now I know it seems like, oh, it's unfair, he just did a little mistake and so on, but this is a high level tournament, so you expect your opponent is saying that, well, you did this, so you have to commit to it. That's what happens. You're playing a high level tournament such as the Asia Pacific Grand Prix. You expect your opponent to like do whatever or say whatever it is to gain as much advantage as you can, because if you committed to it, you know what you're doing, you made the decision and so on. So you have to be very careful and cautious what you do. Usually people don't pay attention too much. They will cost them the game, because like what Daniel just did at the moment, he accidentally untapped his Resonator when he's supposed to wait. I didn't tap for Magic Stone and play some other cards, but he didn't do it, so he went straight to the end phase, indicating to his opponent that he passed his turn. So not looking too good for Daniel at the moment. But let's see how everything turns out. It might cost him the game, might not cost him the game, but let's see how everything goes. Guinevere into Rookgate into allowing to draw 2 cards, well, search first and draw 2 cards and discarding 1. Depending what Jason discard, it might help him, might not help him. But luckily, Daniel does have a bow on the field for defensive play if he necessarily needs to. So he can one-shot like Hunters or one-shot like anything with 400 defense or lower. It can help him in any situation. And because the fact that his opponent is not playing Reflect Refrain, so he doesn't get the random pump to dodge bow's effect. So let's see now. Currently, life point wise, 3,400 compared to 2,300 life points, 11,000 point difference. But however, if Daniel can maintain the field and control the board and so on, he will be fine. Even with that huge misplay just then, by going to the end phase right away, while showing your opponent that you just untapped. This card is a Lancelot surprisingly, so meaning he doesn't need Lancelot in hand, maybe he has something else better. Dropping the Rookgate on the field, Jay activating right off the bat, sacrificing the Rookgate, dropping the Bahamut. Obviously Bahamut will do 0 damage since Rookgate has 0 attack. Now with the power to search for anything, he might be searching for another Rook Egg. Looks like he's searching for another Rook Egg. He can search for Rook Egg, he can search for any Resonator here as long as fire, so which allows him to toolbox very quickly. Getting another Rook Egg to keep the flow going and so on. So you know what, I have a lot of floaters, I just flip my deck and flip my deck out to the point that I draw my burn spell to burn you to death. Because you're almost below 2,000 life point, all I need to do is draw a couple of Thunders or draw a couple of Perfect Fire, draw a couple of Split Heaven Earth, and that game will be finished. With Bahamut on the board, not looking too good. So let's see now. Back to Daniel's turn. Hopefully Daniel doesn't make the same mistake again, because if he does, it will cost him the game once more. So at least I do see a Rubber Fire Rat in his hand, so he can be a good for defensive play. But however, Jason doesn't really have any aggressive card on the field except for Bahamut, and obviously Rubber Fire Rat can't target J Rulers. It only targets Resonators. So let's see what can Daniel do in this situation. He is in a predicament at the moment because he did a huge misplace last turn. So let's see, can he make up for it? That is the real question, that is. Thinking about his play at the moment, he does have a Resonator on the field, but however the Bahamut is a bit stronger than his Resonator, so attacking directly looks like. Pumping up 800 attack, I believe. But also looks like they pumped that up to 800, I believe. Paying 1, dropping the Necromancy, attacking into Bahamut with target attack and removing counter from to it, so forcing his opponent to sacrifice the Rook and give it impressionable. If not, then the damage will go through, doing a trade-off. So let's see, he can't block with anything. If he does block, the bow will come in and in one shot the Rook Egg that's trying to defend. And obviously the Resonator, I can't remember his name, sorry about that guys, I can't remember his name. What it does is that just removing counter against the swiftness, flying, or even what is it, flying, swiftness, target attack as well. So pumping it up and so on. Looks like he is going to use Bahamut's effect, sacrificing a red Resonator to keep it imperishable and searching for another Rook out to get the flow going. But looks like he does go through, so both players will lose a card on the field. However, Bahamut does have imperishable, meaning it will survive. But however, for Daniel's case, he did lose a Resonator, but the Necromancy is in his graveyard, which does allow him to get power plays going. He does use the Necromancy combination with Kukula Living Flame to swing 700 points directly towards Guinevere. So he did sacrifice his own Guinevere to do this, but he might need it because he is a turn behind, because with that misplay he did a couple of turns ago. So let's see. Back to Jason's turn now. Currently, life point wise, 3,400 compared to 2,300 life point. Not much has changed at the moment, but however, we are going towards the mid to late game now. With that in mind, Jason might need to speed things up, because with Reflect Refrain, this version, Necromancy version of it, can go really well in the late game. So you don't want your opponent to go toward the late game. If they do, they can outrun you with better Resonate, because obviously, Daniel's Resonate can hit a bit harder because with the Necromonicons in the Necromancy in the graveyard, which will allow him to randomly additionally add an extra 200 attack point and defense point to the Resonators and swing a bit harder. He does J-activate to a Bahamut, so Bahamut with 1000 attack and defense, but with no Leviathan on field, no big threat for Daniel. In comes of Lancelot, swing directly for 600 point damage. He looks like declaring a block, declaring activation of the bow, and using Thunder, getting rid of the Lancelot. He said, you know what, I'm not going to take any more damage, because the more damage I take, the closer I am with that Bahamut range. And the burn spell range. So let's see. Hopefully Daniel can make up his previous turns and so on. Attacking direct for 700, and he does take it, which does put Jason down to 2,700 life point compared to Daniel's 2,300. So only 400 points difference at the moment. Looks like recovering. Oh no, he did it again. He untapped his Resonator right off the bat. Again, with the recovering technique, it only recovers at the end phase, because you untapped it while in your end phase, meaning indicates to your opponent you untapped it during your end phase and you're passing your turn. Again, oh god, this might hurt him quite a bit, because that Bahamut is still can swing for a ton of damage and not looking too good for him at the moment. This might cost him the game, because again, I think he's just kind of nervous, because this is the top 4 matchup. Reflect Refrain, the ability to recover at the end phase, he should like maybe J-activate or something, or do something first before using Reflex Effect first. So now putting him in a predicament. Not only that, he's 1 Magic Stone short again. We're already at the almost 20-minute mark now, attacking directly with Bahamut. In comes the bow, doing 400 damage directly to the Bahamut, and see any response from Jason. Let's see what can Jason do in this situation. I'm expecting some kind of like removal spell from Daniel, because why else will you activate bow for no reason? Bow only does 400, so let's see what can he do. He does, and in comes the Outer World, destroying the Bahamut. So meaning Bahamut will not get impressionable, because the fact that there's no what do you call it? Any red Resonate on the field or Leviathan on the field to give it impressionable. So pretty much meaning that Outer World will resolve killing that Bahamut, putting in the J-Rule form in Astral form, or Astral Rule, shall I say. Why is it Astral form for? I have no idea why. So this actually does make up the misplay he did do. Hopefully everything will be okay. So let's see now. Life point wise, 2,700 life point compared to 2,300 life point. Again, 400 difference, not much has changed. Paying 2 resources. I do see a Purifying Fight in Jason's hand, so he might activate it. And he does like activate, putting down 1,600 life point left for Daniel, compared to Jason's 2,700 life point. But however, it does show Jason's hand is quite low on ammo, so pretty much he's almost running out of gas in general to play with. But however, Daniel does have a lot more cards. But however, with the few misplay twice with the recover phase incident, might cost him the game regardless what is going on. Attacking directly for 700 point damage, which does put Jason down to 2,000 life point. Paying 2 for Robo Fire Rat to stop his opponent's Red Resonator from attacking and so on. Because Robo Fire Rat does prevent Red Resonator from doing any single damage. And sorry for the noise outside. I don't know why the dog is barking for obvious reason. So you see, so pretty much with Bahamut gone, he doesn't need to worry about anything else besides Red Resonator and burn spells. But however, 2 burn spell, 2 split Heaven Earth could be enough to finish the game off if Jason has it in his hand. Again, sorry for the dog barking outside. I don't know why it's keep barking. And so in comes the Thunder, doing 500 damage directly to his opponent, putting him down to 1,100 life point. but however he DJ activates, so meaning that he can counter any normal spell with Reflect Refrain. It depends which one he's going to counter. He might be countering Split Heaven and Earth, Purifying Fire, Thunders, and so on. However, Jason only has like 2 or 3 cards in his hand, so pretty much if one of them is a burn spell, most likely it will get cancelled by Reflect Refrain. And even as a Resonator, he can't really do much with that Rapid Fire Rat into play. So let's see now. Cthulhu, Living Flame, and along with a Necromancy, Purifying Fire, not Purifying Fire, Robot Fire Rat, and a bow with no counters. In comes Split Heaven and Earth, but however getting cancelled by Reflect Refrain. And in comes a second Split Heaven and Earth for doing 900 point damage, which does put Daniel down to 200 life points. So compared to 200 to 2018 difference at the moment, but however, Jason has nothing on the field to defend with, so if somehow Daniel draws like Pumpkin Witch, Adam Brawley, Cthulhu Living Flame combination, this could be the game for him. We're already at the 60-minute mark now and 28 seconds soon. So let's see what can Daniel do. Daniel only has a few Magic Stone to play with because a few misplay he played in the previous turns. So let's see, he's still in his recover phase, thinking about his play. Maybe has a random Thunder in his hand to thunder his opponent, do enough damage, just enough to get rid of his opponent. But it doesn't look like he have any, but he did DJ activate, or whatever, D-Judgment, what it's called these days, to go back to Reflect Refrain form, because you know what, you're tapped out, I don't need to worry about Thunders and so on, so I can use Reflect Refrain to draw a card, and put one back to the bottom to draw into better cards like the Last Lot, Cthulhu Living Flame, and etc, 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 to get the game to my favor again, with the few misplay I did. Let's see now, 3 Magic Stone open, so he can do a Pumpkin Witch play if he has it in hand, or he can do Cthulhu Living Flame multiple times, and so on. Paying 1, Rookgate comes in, attacking directly for 700 point damage, which does put Jason down to 13. The Cthulhu Living Flame and Rookgate, Robot Fire Rat, and he does Judgment once more, putting more counters onto it, so pretty much you're not going to like resolve any burn spell unless I say so. But however, if Jason has 2 Thunder in his hand, this could be the game. 2 Magic Stone open, so I'm assuming maybe Outer World in his hand, so he can respond to like maybe a Resonator if it's necessary to. But with Robot Fire Rat in play, most likely will do nothing at all. 13 life compared to 200 life, 1300 life, not 13 life, that would be way too low. Typing for number Magic Stone and passing turn, so this could be what Daniel needs, because for this misplay he did, attacking directly for 700 point, which does put Jason down to 600 if he takes it, unless Jason has some kind of removal spell in his hand to get rid of it. He does take it and put him down to 600 life point compared to 200. In comes the Cheshire Cat, hopefully drawing to a burn spell, or draw into another Cthulhu Living Flame to attack directly for 700 life point, because the fact that Necromancy will go to the graveyard once he incarnates his Cthulhu Living Flame with another Cthulhu Living Flame. He draws 2 couple on top. In comes Adam Brawley, incarnating the Cheshire Cat and the Rookgate. So both will trigger, Rookgate will search, and Cheshire Cat will shuffle back to the deck. So it looks like he will get the Cthulhu Living Flame to his hand, and so on, and incarnate into it, and then attack for game. I'm pretty sure this is the game, guys, unless Jason has some kind of response to Cthulhu Living Flame, like a Thunder or something, I don't know. But if he did have a Thunder, he would Thunder directly to the face. Just saying. Before Reflect Refrain was on the field. So let's see what can he do. Thinking about his play at the moment. Doing 400 damage directly to his own Resonator, and so on. Thinking his plays and so on. Let's see, 2 Magic Stone open. Looks like he does incarnate into it. Yep, incarnating 2 Cthulhu Living Flame and Necromancy will trigger, putting under it, and that will be the game unless Jason can respond to it, attacking directly. Let's see, does he respond at all? And no, that's the game, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for game 2.